Welcome back to the channel. Hope you enjoyed the first video. Today we're going to be talking about some current events and the struggles with Team USA and rebounding. So USA lost to Lithuania today, and although they won their last game, both games seem to have one factor as a struggle for Team USA, and that's rebounding. Team Lithuania had 43 rebounds compared to USA's 27 in the game, and it might have been a factor where Team Lithuania had three starters that were 6'9" or taller, also featuring Jonas Valanciunas, but Team USA still is just not grabbing many rebounds at all. The leading scorers for Lithuania were Vaidas Kariniauskas, who scored 15 points, Mindaugas Kuzminskas, who added 14, and Lithuania beat USA by a score of 110-104 in a second round-robin game at the World Cup. This was a huge upset, of course, because Team USA, this is their first loss in 10 games this summer, and that includes the 5 exhibitions they've had on the way to the World Cup. They did clinch a spot and a berth at the Paris Games, but it's still a major shock, especially for a US team who are overwhelmingly favorites to win the gold. Anthony Edwards led the US with 35 points. He shot 14 of 26, great efficiency, and that was his high of the summer so far, while Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges each added 14 points. For Lithuania, of course, came another night to remember against USA Basketball, and they sent a clear message to the Americans and anyone else still in the World Cup. Lithuania have pushed the US to the limit, their breaking point, more than a few times. Lithuania lost to the Americans by 9 in a preliminary game at the 2000 Sydney Olympics, then escaped with a 2-point win in the semifinals and remained unbeaten in the Dream Team Olympic era, when Sarunas Jasikevich's 3-point try as time expired fell short. This game really didn't matter much as far as medal hopes go, considering both teams came to Sunday with spots secured for Tuesday's quarterfinals. There was a lot to unpack, however. USA will play Italy now in the last 8, while Lithuania will face Serbia. Lithuania came out of the gates blazing and made their first 9 3-point attempts and built an early 21-point lead. But it took the Americans less than 5 minutes of the third quarter to cut what was a 17-point halftime deficit down to just 4, and the comeback attempt was on. Lithuania's lead was 71-65 going into the final 10 minutes, and they would not trail the rest of the way. Brazil, Puerto Rico, and the Dominican Republic were trying to join the US in the quarterfinals, but all lost on Sunday to end their stay at the World Cup. And with only Canada still in the tournament from the Americas, that meant there was no scenario in which the US could be passed by 2 teams from its region in the final World Cup standings. Ultimately, there will be 12 nations in the Olympic men's basketball tournament. France qualified as the host, and 7 teams so far. Australia, South Sudan, Japan, and the US earn automatic bids based on their World Cup placing. The top 2 teams from the Americas get Olympic spots, as do the top 2 from Europe and the top team from Africa, which was South Sudan, Asia, which was Japan, and Oceania, which was Australia. Important factor to bring up is that US topped France to win the Olympic gold at the Tokyo Games just 2 summers ago. And Italy versus USA, Germany versus Latvia, Lithuania versus Serbia, and Canada versus Slovenia are now the quarterfinals this year. To sum things up, the biggest thing that I think Team USA can change is Jaren Jackson Jr. has got to be more aggressive on the glass. He hasn't registered much of any turnovers, but he hasn't really scored a whole lot either. He had 12 points against Jordan, down to 11 against Montenegro, and now only 3 points as he fouled out against Lithuania. He has shot fairly efficiently from the field, only 1 for 3 in this game, and this was the first game in 4 games that he hit a 3-pointer. He also only had 1 rebound in this game, 0 in the last against Montenegro, and just 6 against Jordan. He's got to be more aggressive on the glass, as he is the best paint presence on defense for Team USA. Of course, the reigning deploy is meant to make major adjustments on the defensive end in the next few games in order for Team USA to be some real competitors in Paris. I want to thank you very much if you made it to this part of the video. We're going to be talking about some historic events as we did in the last video, and some current events now as well, as there's lots of news breaking down in the current NBA. This is Core Chronicles, and make sure to join me next time as we talk about the game that we all love further.